We live in an area where there's very, very, very high levels of fuel poverty. So we live in an area where energy use affects people. We live in an area where we can see climate all around us. People recognize changes and so are seeing the effects firsthand of climate change. So I think it's just because as a community, we're so closely connected to that, to energy, and then we're so closely connected to climate that it just is so natural that so many of our projects are about that.
There's a few examples of pretty major life-changing sort of outcomes from that project where people maybe just didn't quite know who to contact to get their windows upgraded to double glazing, and getting pointed in the right direction to get insulation and heating systems replaced. You know, things that really changed people's lives and how they were able to live in their houses.
Sometimes you get a solution promoted by, a sector, if you like, private sector or a public body whose primary focus is whatever, roads, traffic, transport, whereas a community will be thinking in the round and thinking about all of their needs and all of their aspirations and so on. So I think that's where communities could add value by saying, look, well, that's fine, that might fix that, but actually we want a solution that gives multiple benefits.
If I want to get a message across, I don't use a public body to do it. I think the message is much better delivered by one of your own, as it were. One of the things that the Development Trust is very good at is getting information out there.
If we get it across to everybody who comes to the forest, that they have a personal responsibility, because that's where it starts. Your own personal responsibility, the choices you make. How often you use your car. Do you go abroad and do you fly? This sort of thing. How much technology do you buy every year?
Those who study kind of climate change psychology and climate change communication tell us that not only do we need to get the right words and the right vocabulary, but we need to have the right messengers for climate change. The messages are quite stark, they're a little bit scary, and they're going to demand a change from everybody. In order for that message to land well, it needs to be communicated by people like the audience, if you like. So the changes that we need to make need to be shared, yes, by politicians and scientists, but actually people looking out my window here in my community, the people that they're going to listen to and give credibility to are their peers. They're people who speak like them, people who look like them, people who talk like them.
But I also think there's a strong theme that we probably haven't explored enough yet in Scotland about how the transition to a net zero economy and the changes in land use that go with that can actually benefit communities. And if, coming back to the theme of a just transition, we know there's going to be big land use change in Scotland over the next couple of decades to meet the climate targets. The question is, how do we make sure that communities are actually benefiting and influencing and being part of that change rather than just watching it happen around them?
A lot of what I would consider climate action wouldn't necessarily be labelled as that and doesn't necessarily save any carbon in the short term, but it's all about creating the sort of resilient communities we need in order to create the transformational change and structural changes that we need.
Ultimately, it's not just about whether you're delivering climate targets, it's how are you doing that in a way that actually realizes all the opportunities along the way, we're in a time where the whole focus is on green recovery. So clearly we want to deliver these climate targets in a way that actually increases the resilience of local economies and local communities. And that's why how you do it matters, I think, perhaps more than just delivering the climate target itself.